Hey y'all, this is Gail. I'm teaching here from Southeast Texas, our gentle yoga for low back care. For this class, we do use gear. The gear we need today is a yoga strap, a yoga block, a non-stick surface, whether that's a yoga mat, a floor, or your chair. Optional things I like to have is a blanket and what else? I like to use the chair. So I'm going to stand up, come over to the chair. At the very end of class, I come back up to the front of the room. We do that guided rest and relaxation and the gratitude practice. So today we're going to do strengthening for not only the lower back, but the upper back. One of the postures we'll be doing is using the golfer's grip. So I'm going to come up to the camera to show that. So we take our hands, fold our fingers into the pads of the hands. And we try to have the top of the hand aligned with the forearm. So none of this cocked wrist business. Try to have it aligned as best you can. Now I can't get my right fingers down all the time, but eventually it works towards getting into the hand. It may be into the pad and maybe here at the very top. It's okay whichever way you do this, okay? So we'll use that in probably two of the postures that we do today. So again, I'm going to use the chair to come down to the floor. We start off in constructive wrist posture. You can be seated in the chair instead if you like. So I'm going to squeeze my belly button towards my spine, bend my knees, and then stick one leg way out. And then I come down on the knee that's best for me. I try to avoid that left knee as best I can. And then I kind of just tip over. Again, since I have lots of body aches and pains, you have that too, this class is for you. It is a beginner's class. I'm moving that chair out of the way. At the end of class, you may want to take your blanket and roll it up underneath the bend of the knees. That helps to further release tension in the spine. That's a great way to sleep at night too, with something under the bend of the knees. So constructive rest posture. That's lying on your back, knees bent, feet on the yoga mat. It's sitting nice and firm in the chair, feet on the floor. And for those of us with spicy back issues, this may feel kind of awkward. So what I like to do is take my hand around my wrist and pull that shoulder up and off because my spine sits, my muscles in my back sit kind of funny because I got scoliosis. And then do the other side, kind of lift it up and away. So for me, that makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. And wiggle those shoulders, move those feet, kind of move the hips up and down, get it all nice and relaxed. We'll start with the breathing first. So whether you're seated, whether you're laying on your back, I invite you to kind of find that belly button and then take two widths, that's hard to say, two widths of your fingers below the belly button and place one hand in that area and then one hand above. Relax the elbows, the shoulders. So this is to help you increase awareness of your low belly breathing, middle belly breathing, and low chest breathing. So let's breathe in, let the low belly rise, and the mid belly and the upper belly chest. So in other words, everything expands like a balloon. And then exhale, let everything contract towards the floor, towards the back of your chair. So a little sneaky core work when you do the breath. Again, breathe in, belly soft and make it big. Exhale, belly button towards your spine. Let the weight of your hands kind of compress the belly and let everything get out of the lungs. Again, breathe in, belly big. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Now making a little noise in the back of the throat. It's called the Ujjayi breath or the ocean breath, or I like to call it Darth Vader breath. It's basically you're kind of constricting the throat a little bit. It's as if you had a hand mirror in front of you and you were breathing in through the nose. And as you exhale, you make that little ha sound. Now do that again, but keep the lips softly sealed. So breathe in and exhale. So you're not trying to constrict it too much to where you dry your throat, but that's a mechanism. If you're feeling spicy in a yoga posture, in a movement, you return your attention to the breath. Listen to the breath going in through the nostril tips and then out through the nostril tips. So you're listening for that shishy shh kind of sound coming in and out through the nose. Redirection of the senses often allows you to stay in the yoga posture, or if that doesn't work, you just modify a little bit. Next is knee to chest pose. You can do this with your yoga strap, with it along the bottom of the foot, or hands back behind the knee pit, or your own muscular strength. So knee into chest, if you're seated, this is probably, something you want to do. Hands back behind the knee pit or strap along the bottom of the foot. Laying on the floor, you can do this also. And you're noticing, okay, how much of this leg is into the hip crease, into the side low waist, maybe into the low rib. So for me, it's more away than it is towards my body. And then let's extend our leg out in the air. So if you're seated in the chair, this is easier to do with the strap. And you're noticing how this feels more towards the floor, more towards your chest. If it's more towards your chest, maybe you're feeling a little activation of the hamstrings, definitely the quadriceps, maybe the back of the knees, maybe the hip flexors, definitely the hip flexors today. Whew. All right, and then let's inhale, bring the knee in towards the chest. And as you exhale, contract that belly button, extend that leg out. Again, inhale, knee into chest. Exhaling, leg out. My hip is popping. Inhale, knee into chest. Belly soft. Exhaling, leg out. Contract that belly button. And again, inhale, knee into chest. So this helps with getting a range of motion going on with the knee into chest. It also helps to immobilize or mobilize, whichever one it is, the knee, the hip, getting that all kind of nice and warmed up before we get into the big time work of our class today. And just notice how this feels for your hip bone, for your knee bone. If you got meniscus issues, you may hear some crinkly things going on. You may feel some hip popping. Hopefully it's not painful. Do less. Don't do if it's painful, okay? It's all about keeping away from the ouch. Now it's the hospital ouch. It's not that, it's a little bit challenging ouch, okay? Or maybe somewhere in between. So maybe it's a little bit more lubricated. Just remember, motion is lotion for those joints. So this helps with your joints, your knee, your hip, a little bit of the ankle, but we'll work the ankle in just a little bit. And then invite the knee into the chest. I'm going to let go of that strap now. And let's work a little bit with the ankle. So we're going to point and flex the foot. Just notice if you feel a little bit stiff on the top of the foot. I know I do. Especially if we're in shoes, and it's cold, so we're probably in, nice warm socks and shoes, yes? I wear those weird little Japanese toe socks, the tabby socks, because I sometimes wear sandals in the house instead of shoes. It's just more comfortable. So yes, I have the little weird socks to do that. Ankle circles. Notice the noise, the snap, crackle, pops of the ankle, top of the foot. If you've had any foot injuries, you may notice this more one side than the other. Even stubbing a toe. Woo, that can give you some feet problems, yes? This helps with being able to walk better when you kind of work the ankle, the knee, the hip joints. And reverse, go the other way. My reverse always feels weird. And my ankle just snapped right there. I was talking, you probably couldn't hear it. Does the shin feel a little warmed up, a little worn out now? Because we're kind of moving muscles that normally we don't move. Go back to point and flex. And then release this foot down to the floor. Very nice. Beautiful. Let's do the other side. Choose if you're going to use the strap or not. But contract the belly button towards the spine. Lift the knee in towards the chest. And what you're going to notice here, okay, this side. How does it feel compared to the other side? Is it more in towards my chest? Am I into that hip crease? Am I into that side waist? Am I into the low ribs? I'm more into the side waist on this side. So those of us with back challenges typically have asymmetry, which means we're not even one side versus the other. So that happens, okay? You may notice when you look in the mirror, is one shoulder higher than the other? You may notice in the mirror, or someone in your family may notice you have one hip higher than the other. That's asymmetry, which causes back problems, back pain. So we're going to extend the leg out. If you're seated in the chair, use your strap. It's easier to have this off the ground for some folks. You got to really use your core if you're not using the strap today. And just to kind of, again, notice, does this feel more comfortable towards your chest, compared to the other side? Is there more sensation going on? Is there less sensation? So yes, I do talk a lot in class because I want you all to become more body aware of what's going on. And just me asking questions, and you think, in your brain, okay, does this feel different? Yes, no, or do I even notice it? So that can be an issue too. All right, so from here, inhaling, bring the knee into the chest. Trying to clear my sinuses here. Exhale, extend that leg out. Again, inhaling, knee into chest. Take your time, match your movement with your breath. Exhale, leg out. So why do we match our movement with our breath? Inhale, knee into chest. That helps us to lower our cortisol, which is that stress hormone, which is linked to increased belly fat. So there's like a scientific reason for doing yoga. It's to lower the cortisol, that stress hormone. And plus, if you can think about breathing in, breathing out, doing movement, you kind of let go of all the other stuff that's going on. Maybe, you've got some stuff worrying you, got some anxiety, got some depression issues. You can just think about breathing in, moving the body, breathing out, moving the body. You can't do more than, 3 or 4 things at a time. And that just kind of helps you be right now in the moment, not in the past, not in the future, right here now. So that's good stuff. You can do that with a yoga class, with a yoga nidra, with a meditation. That kind of helps us deal with our stuff, right? Or maybe you're just beginning on this journey. So kind of, use this to kind of figure out what helps you. Let's do a couple of more, just because I like to talk and you all like to breathe, right? And then bring it in towards our chest. Let the foot dangle and just kind of notice, did it come a little bit more in toward your body? You may not notice that seated on the chair, but definitely folks lying on their backs. You can do this class on your bed or on a couch. If you can't get down to the floor, that might be a nice benefit to you. Alternatively, seated in the chair. Let's do our points and flexes of the foot now. Ooh, my foot just snapped. You missed it. Yes, Gail is a tad goofy. Don't mix me up with the other Gail, Gail McCabe. She teaches at the Yoga Nidra. She's a wonderful teacher. So there's 2 parts for reducing pain. One is a gentle movement class, whether it's Tai Chi, yoga, Felon Cross, whatever movement thing that works for you. Second part is attending a Yoga Nidra. So if you do have chronic daily pain, which I do, Yoga Nidra can help you get into the brain, help you to release some of that pain that you might have. Check it out. It takes more than 1 class. Ankle circles, that's part 2 for reducing chronic daily pain. Also helps folks go to sleep. I used to teach on Sunday night. There's a lot of my recordings up on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out also. If the time doesn't match with what you like to do. And then reverse, go the other direction. And of course, if you want to look at the chair versions or the back yoga classes that I've done in the past, that's up on YouTube on my channel too. That's Yoga with Gail on YouTube. And some of my classes are over on Veterans Yoga Project YouTube channel also. I think the ankle's getting a workout here. And then relax and release. Beautiful. Point and flex a couple more times after those circles. And release. Beautiful. I'm going to come to sitting up because I'm going to talk about this golfer's grip thing again. Remember, we're going to fold the fingers into the pads of the hands. This is where a yoga block or a bunched up pillow will come in handy, folks. We're going to work with strengthening the upper musculature and the inner and outer thighs, which is linked to back pain, yeah? So when you have imbalances, there's one side that's stronger than the other, whether it's the quadricep, the hamstring, the glutes, the hip flexors. We're going to address it all. So we're going to take the medium width of our yoga block in between the inside of the knees. Whether you're seated on the chair, whether you're here lying on your back. So grab your block, place it in between the legs, and I like to kind of heel toe my feet in, so I kind of feel a little consistent squeeze of the inner thighs and us laying on our back. So this is the benefit of being on a surface. You're getting that bilateral support. So if you have one hip higher than the other, it eventually kind of evens out here laying on your back. I'm going to move my shoulders once again, just to make it more comfortable. Now we're going to engage that golfer grip hands. So we're going to fold the fingers into the pads of the hands. I'm going to have the hands in front of me like I'm getting ready to fly. And then I'm turning my thumbs towards the center of my body. So I look like super person here. Now, if you're sitting on the chair, you're going to do a little bit more work here. Let me move my strap out of the way. We're going to bend the elbows and have letter T arms. So this is how you look like when you're seated too, parallel arms to the floor. My right hand fingers don't come down, but maybe they will eventually. What we're going to do is walk those ankle bones in and squeeze that inner thighs, the inside of the knees together. Have a consistent squeeze here. It's not 100%. Then what we're going to do is squeeze the shoulders towards one another. And if you're laying on your floor, squeeze the shoulders into the floor, squeeze the shoulders towards the spine and release. Let it relax and release. Let's do that again 4 more times. Squeeze the block a little bit more if you can, and release. Keep squeezing the block no matter what though. Don't let it drop. Squeeze the shoulders and release. 2 more times because I can't count. Here we go. 2 squeezing, 2 squeezing, and release. Here comes number 1 squeeze right here. Squeeze, 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 squeeze the block. Beautiful. Now take the hands in front of you, clap the hands, rub into the palms of the hands, and then rub it into the fingers as if you're starting a little campfire, a little stick in between the hands. Very nice. Hands in front of your chest. Let's interlace the fingers. Now, if you're laying on the floor, make sure the back of the shoulders are into the yoga mat. If you're here seated, make sure the arms are super straight. If you're here laying on the back, make sure the elbows are the same. My one elbow likes to turn out. We're squeezing the palms together, shoulders down. Now, with the belly button tight, we're going to bring the arms slowly up overhead. Super straight arms. If you start to bend the elbows, that's your cue to stop. So you're going to notice where it stops naturally. So I'm on the side of my glasses here. I'm going to wiggle my thumbs. You may be more forward in front of your face if you're seated. By the way, it's a little bit difficult to do overhead arms seated in the chair. It's still very effective though. Woo! With that belly button tight. Yes. Slowly bring it back to in front of your chest. Ooh, I felt my shoulder pop. And again, let's clap the hands. Get a little bubble in my throat here. Ooh, that feels good. This is great for osteoarthritis, arthritis in the hands. Great for carpal tunnel. I love it. Okay, from here, go back to the golfer's grip. Fold the fingers in. Did you fold more? Just something to observe. Turn the thumbs towards the center of your body. Bend the elbows, letter T arms. So you look like a half of a letter T if someone was looking from above down at you. Just a FYI. So here we go. Squeeze the block consistently. Very nice. Or the inside of your knees. And then press your shoulders, squeeze your shoulders towards your spine and release. Press and release. 3 more. Press and release. 2 more. Here we go. Here we go. Press and release. 1 more. Here we go. Press, 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 and release. Hands in front of you. Clap your hands. Oh, clap them again. Very good. Rub those hands. My husband says I have a loud clap. I don't think I do, but that's his opinion. And he's welcome to it. Hands are warm, I hope. Ooh, that feels good. Interlace the fingers, squeeze the palms, shoulders down if you're on your back. Elbows the same. Super straight arms, belly button tight. Here we go. So this is the sequence I learned when I took gentle yoga for low back care because I was having severe back pain. Yes, yoga teacher having back pain. How about that? I'm here on the side of my temples now. So I'm touching a yoga block, I think. So I increased my range of motion just a little bit on that. Belly button super tight. And let's bring it back in front of our chest. Now, if you have a spasms in your back when you're doing this, don't go so deep into the posture, okay? Clap your hands, rub your hands. Get that heat going on. At least my hands are warm. I know it's kind of challenging. What temperature do you put the room when you're doing yoga? It is a beginner's class. So we don't do a lot of movement. So sometimes you get super heated. All right, I think I've exfoliated my palms enough. So interlace the fingers, squeeze the palms, shoulders down, super straight arms, lots of words. Yes. Here we go. Belly button tight. Slowly bring the arms up overhead. My one elbow likes to turn in. I always have to go, no, make it the same as the other one. This is great for your rotator cuff, bursitis, and the shoulders. And wherever you are, super straight arms, wiggle your thumbs if you can. I'm touching the floor with one thumb. Oh my gosh. And that one arm feels very challenging. So squeeze the belly button slowly. Ooh, that's a challenge. Bring it back in front of you. Do you notice your abdominals when you do this? You probably should. Clap those hands. Rub those hands. Oh, that's over. Yay. So we just strengthened our upper back musculature, our stuff with our hips, our inner thighs, our outer thighs, a little bit of the hip flexor business. So that's a good posture for doing more than one thing at a time. So I'm going to take that block out, bring it out to the side. We're going to transition over onto our side body. So what I like to do is I walk my feet towards my behind. I lift up first, then I turn. Why do I do that? Because I have SI joint dysfunction, and if I turn with weight bearing, it really wakes the bear up, so to speak. So from here, hand in front of you, extend that top leg. You can come up to your forearm. When we come up off the ground, sometimes dizzy stuff happens. So you can pause here. If that's not an issue, then come all the way up to seated. Oh, here's the reason why I like the yoga blanket. So when you're sitting on your bottom sometimes, I'm just going to show this sideways. I tend to have a not great posture. I tend to like curve more towards the floor. You may not be able to notice this, but I definitely notice it. So I'll take that yoga blanket or a big long towel, and I'll fold it up into a rectangle shape, and then I'll fold it. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Fold it into thirds, and then I take that thickness, that edge, and I'm going to put it here to where my edge of my booty is sitting on the edge of the yoga blanket. Whoa, okay. So what that happens to do, and I'll bring my block close by, it tilts my pelvis forward and allows my chest to have a little bit more space instead of kind of like constricted towards the floor. If you're doing your texting or stuff on your iPad or whatever, you're more rounded if you're on the computer. So this chest expansion helps with lessening getting colds and flus because you're breathing deeper. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, so sometimes the knees are towards the sky, yeah? So I like to have that yoga block to rest my leg on so I don't feel like lots of tension going on with that hip. So that's the reason to have two blocks, so you can do it on the other side too. So that's just my left leg that gives me challenges. Again, that's due to my imbalances. I'm going to do the shorter height there. So I've kind of shifted it a little bit forward. So again, my pelvis tilts a little bit more forward. What are we doing here? We're going to do side lateral flexion. It's one of the 6 yoga movements for lubricating the spine. I'm going to show it sideways today. Ooh, being different. So we're going to inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Now keep one arm up, take the other hand down, either grabbing underneath the chair or on the side of the floor, and then inhale, reach. And I'm going to tippy-toe my other hand away as I bring my side body over. So I'm feeling the sensation from my hip bone through the side of my body, the QL muscle, into the armpit, so to speak, and then bring it back on up and down. Now we're going to do the other side. So I'm going to turn to the front and do the other side. I'm going to try to. My blanket's at a weird position there. I'm off the yoga mat. Oh, well, here we go. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. All right, so the other one goes way up, hand on the floor or back behind you. If you do back behind you, you get a little strength building going on there with the upper back. And then inhale, reach. Exhale, belly button tight as you stretch that side body over. Now, if my arm was out, then I could go a little bit more. But more is not necessarily better, okay? Just know that, especially if you're having some like spicy stuff going on. Bring it back on up and down. I'm going to try this without the blanket now. See if it makes any, oh yeah, it makes a difference. Come back onto my yoga mat. If you need to cross your feet, cross them a different direction, please do so. And just know, you can have a leg out doing this also. I'm going to move my muscle out of the way. Maybe I can do that. Yeah. You can also, again, put a little thing underneath your knee. I like to do stuff with all the gear we have to make it feel easier in the body. So let's do that side lateral flexion again. So inhale, circle, sweep arms up. One arm stays up, hand on the floor underneath the chair. Exhale, and then inhale, reach. I'm going to walk it out here a little bit. I'm trying to be straight from my hip bone to my hand bone. Whoa. This is my pacemaker side. So my pacemaker likes to move, so it feels kind of odd, yeah. And then inhale back on up. Exhale, bring it down. I'm going to bring my legs back to its original position because it just feels better in the body. You do you, right, with what you got. So here we go, other side. Inhaling up, and then my hand goes down. Exhaling. Inhale, reach. Tippy toe it out. Woo. Definitely feel some grabby sensations going on in the top side of the body. And I got that crunchy stuff going on underneath. Very good. Inhaling up. Exhale, bring it down. Beautiful. We're going to do seated twist. And you look at see what leg is in front, or you pick a side that you're going to do first. Okay, I got to adjust my behind a little bit. That makes it feel a lot better. We do unsupported twist in support of back yoga. So if you are used to someone saying, take an opposite arm over to the leg and twist, you can crank yourself into pain. So in this class, don't do that. Well, I can't see what you're doing, so please don't do that. We're going to do letter W, arms. So we're squeezing the shoulders. Again, opportunity for upper back strength building. Beautiful. And then, so you're squeezing. I hope you are. And we got this weird arms going out here. Let's breathe in. Belly gets big when we do that. Belly soft. And as we exhale, contract that belly button. Now twist towards one direction. Keep the belly button tight. Very good. Now belly soft. Stay here. Breathe in. Chin aligned with your chest if you can. Exhale back to the center. Squeeze the belly button. Excellent. Breathe in. Belly big. Go over to the other side. Exhaling. Did you twist more on that side? Maybe. Breathe in, belly big. Exhale back to the center. Beautiful. And release. Do little shoulder wiggles here. We're going to do Flowy Cat Cow next. It's a variation of cat cow. You can do this seated on the chair or on your hands and knees. If you don't like to get on your hands and knees, you may do this seated in the chair or standing, actually. I'm going to take that yoga blanket. Another reason to have a towel or yoga blanket, for me, is to have a little bit more cushion for my knees. So I'm going to come onto the yoga mat with my knees on the yoga blanket. So pardon my behind. There you go. Got a shot of it. There you go. And it's more towards the back of my yoga mat. And I like to do curly toes. You do you. Maybe tops of the feet is best for you. For me, it's not. So it feels odd to me. So I don't do the traditional yoga. I just make yoga my own, yeah? Traditional cat-cow, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Flowy cat-cow for back care is a little different. It's part of yin yoga. So we're going to slide our arms forward. Feels kind of awkward here. We're going to come down to our forearms with the booty sticking up in the air. And I'm going to kind of come a little bit more centered on my yoga mat. And for me, I'm going to curl those toes. I'm going to walk my elbows about an inch towards my body, maybe more, to where I can sink my behind a little bit more towards my heels. Maybe my arms a little bit apart too, because this feels very challenging for those shoulders. With the belly being super soft, we're going to inhale, shift your body forward. And then once your nose kind of comes in alignment with your wrist, contract your belly button, peel the forearms off the yoga mat, shift a little bit more forward, keep contracting, curve the spine to the top of the room, that's your cat paw portion, and then exhale, bring the forearms down, behind towards your heels, or heels towards your behind, one or the other. Breathe in, let's do that again, shift forward, and then peel those forearms, contract that belly button, curve to the top of the room. Exhaling, continue down to the yoga mat. Adjust your arms if necessary. Here we go again. Breathe in. Extension and flexion of the spine with this cat-cow, flowy cat-cow. You got lower lordosis, kyphosis, some other kind of back issues. This is the safe version of doing cat-cow without further extending excessive curves in the low back, in the cervical spine, in the neck, shoulders area. Keep moving, keep breathing. Little bonus, this helps with the biceps and triceps with a little bit of strength building. Try to keep your forearms aligned with your body. Don't have the elbows go out to the side if you can avoid it. It's okay if you need to do that, though. Just know that, okay? Breathe in one more time. And exhale. Lower your behind towards your heels. Are you more towards your heels now? Maybe, maybe not. And then come back to hands and knees. Let's do spinal balance. It's to activate the deepest held layer of your back. It's called the multifidus or the multifidi. Look it up. If that multifidi turns to fat, it recruits other back muscles to do its job. Therefore, you get back pain. So we're going to try to address that deepest held layer. You do this in physical therapy whenever you go in for sciatica or psoas or some other kind of back problem, yeah? You'll take one hand forward. You're on your tippy fingers on that one hand. And then extend, yeah, I don't have to shift forward here to do this. You're going to extend that opposite leg. Now I be on my curly toes and I push my heel so I feel that calf being contracted. Now, breathe in, belly soft. As you exhale, contract the belly button, lift the heel, lift the hand. Spinal balance, bird dog, oppositional reach. Woo! And then bring the hand and arm down, bring it back to the center. Let's switch sides. So, other hands go forward, other foot, opposite foot, push into the heel, get that calf contraction just because it feels good or bad. Inhale, belly soft. Very nice. Exhale, contract that belly button, lift the hand, opposite hand and leg. Point the toes down if you can. Woo, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That's what I'm doing. And then release down to the floor, back to the center. Let's do that and coordinate that with the breath, shall we? So, hands and knees back to the center. Inhale, opposite arm and leg drags forward and outward. Exhale, contract the belly button, lift that heel, that hand. You're doing this seated in the chair also, knee towards the chest. Inhale, arm and leg down. Exhale, back to the heart center. Other side. Inhale, drag the other opposite arm and leg out. Exhale, belly button tight, arm and leg up. Inhale, arm and leg down. Exhale, back to heart center. Beautiful. Let's come up to standing. So I'm going to take my yoga block to help me today. My chair's on the opposite room. You don't have to do both yoga blocks. So I take a foot up in between my hands, and I take that back foot, lean a little forward, curl that back toe, and come up off the ground. I'm going to take that back leg, hop, walk it towards my forward leg. With my knees bent, hands on my hips, I'm going to hinge up to standing. So when we come up to standing, sometimes dizzy stuff happens. So just for a moment, hands to heart center, chin towards your chest, feet a little bit wide. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice the heart rate. Again, inhaling. Just notice that your heart is beating. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to do some of our standing postures. You want to do these seated on the chair? That's cool. I don't know if any of our new people need those seated versions, but I'm just going to show those really quick here. If you're standing, step your feet wide, turn a set of toes towards the short end of the yoga mat. If you're seated and doing warrior posture, take a leg out to the side. Make sure your torso is turned towards the front of the room. You're pressing firmly into the heels, whether you're standing, whether you're seated. So make it very active. All right, so I use the chair because I'm very wiggly and it helps me with my stuff. So feet wide, turn that foot if you haven't already. Bend the knee towards the short end of the yoga mat. Try to keep your shoulders kind of in line with your hips. So try not to lean out and over. Try to be up and down here with this body. And I heel toe out a little bit more. I've got super long legs. Got to hike up my pants a little bit. I'm looking to see, is my knee aligned with my toe or toes? I'm going to bend my knee a little bit more. Feet firm into the floor. Again, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, think about, okay, feet firm, gets into the hips when you do that. This is a bone building exercise. And then think about feet on the floor, pushing the feet opposite ends of the room. Now, we're going to work our upper and lower body once again with that golfer's grip. So fold the fingers into the pads of the hands and then squeeze the shoulders like we did with that twist. Keep the squeeze of the shoulders and extend the arms out into that either a low letter T or parallel to the floor. Bend the knee a little bit more. Hand on the chair if you need to do one side at a time. Keep the squeeze. Now the thumbs are up towards the sky. Let's turn them towards the front of the room and then make those little arm circles. We didn't do this before. So there's a little movement going on from the hips to the upper body, little oscillation, little kind of wavy motion. Do, again, what you can with what you got. You need to hang onto a chair. You need to do one at a time. You need to make it lower. That's cool. You do you, right? So strengthen upper body into the hips, bone building, because we stay in the warrior two feet posture. It's all good stuff, I hope. My head is forward because I don't look over my bent knee when I do the arm circles. And relax the shoulders, kind of do a weird little movement here. In fact, where everybody is, pretend you have a ball, and we're going to draw a side line number 8. You shift a little bit. Breathe in, breathe out. This is half of a horse stance. We're just doing a little bit of a Tai Chi movement here. And then reverse it. We're trying to get into those hips here. I think we're getting into them. So there is a little upper body shifting over the lower body. Bring it back to the center. Take a little break, straighten that leg, and we'll go back to bending that knee. Let's do reverse warrior. It's a variation of side lateral posture. So arms out into that letter T. The hand that's over the bent knee, do a palm up, reach a little forward, bend that knee a little bit, hang onto the chair if you need to. Scoot the hand into the sky, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, hand on the hip, down the leg, hang onto the chair. So again, we're getting into that QL muscle here. And then float it down, straighten that leg, pivot the foot, walk it in. If you're seated, you're going to come back to the center and step the leg out to the other side. If we're standing, step the feet out once again. Sometimes your stance is different, one side versus the other. Lift the heel, turn the toe, bend the knee. I didn't say that before, did I? And again, check to see, is your knee aligned with your hip or knee aligned with your toes? I don't know if it's aligned with your hip. Again, think about hips over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Kind of roll those shoulders a little bit because you know what's coming up, that golfer's grip. So go ahead, go bring those hands into the palms. Before we had the thumbs, let's see, squeeze the shoulders and then arms out into that letter T. We had the thumbs forward. Now do thumbs up, thumbs back behind you. Ooh, a little different. Draw the circle behind you and forward. Try to make sure that some of that circle goes behind the body and forward of the body. Keep breathing. Keep bending that knee. Keep pushing the feet vigorously into the floor so we get that bone building benefit. Plus we're trying to align. This is what's called yoga postural alignment therapy. It's part of our gentle yoga for low back care. I got a big old list here on the side of the room that I try to have us do. We do a piece of some of that. There's about 45 different yoga postures. Can't cram that into an hour, but we get the good stuff here. Keep squeezing the shoulders and release. Shake those shoulders a little bit. You know what? We're going to go back to the ball here. Draw your side line number 8. This is brain work right here. Using both hemispheres of the brain. Little dementia, little Alzheimer's prevention. So I'm bending the knee and then straightening the leg a little bit. Letting that heart rate settle down a little bit. And then come back to the center. Very good. Straighten that leg, pivot the foot, walk it in. So in our Veterans Yoga Project class, we do breathing, mindful movement, meditation, guided rest, relaxation, and that gratitude practice. Next is the movement meditation, which is what I like to do. It's different for each teacher. So you can stand in front of the chair. You can be seated. You can be standing on the ground. But make sure, try to have your toes pointed towards the 12 o'clock position. And let me see here. Let me move over just a little bit. Very good. Okay, so we're going to have our hands facing forward. It's called a mountain posture or Tadasana. And here's what we do. We coordinate our breath with the movement. It's kind of a Tai Chi-esque type of movement here. So let's inhale. Gather our arms in front of us. Gather in. Exhale. Raise it to shoulder height. I'm using that breath now. Inhale, expand outwards. Exhale, contract your arms inward. Inhale, flow it in towards your chest. Feet firm into the floor. That's bone building too. Exhale, flow forward. Inhale, descend. Exhale, disperse out. Let's do that again. Inhale, gather in. Exhale, rise. Inhale, open outwards. Exhale, contract those arms inward. Inhale, flow it towards your chest. Exhale, flow forward. Inhale, descend. Exhale, disperse out. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, gather in. Exhale, rise. Inhale, open outwards. Exhale, contract those arms inward. Inhale, flow it towards the chest. Exhale, flow forward. Inhale, descend. Exhale, disperse out. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bend the knees, bend the elbows. If you're seated in a chair, press vigorously into the floor. Bend those elbows, lean a little forward. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Bend the knees, bend the elbows. Chair posture. Beautiful. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Reach, 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 reach. Exhale, bend those elbows, bend those knees. Feet firm into the floor, bone building. Yes, yes, yes. Breathe in. Exhaling. One more time. Breathe in. This time, actually bring the hands to heart center. Beautiful. So we're going to be using our block for one more posture lying on our back. This doesn't translate well to the chair, but it still can be done. But not if you have an open back, so it's kind of challenging. So we're going to come down to the floor. We'll do a half of a sun salutation to do that. So we're coming up to the short end of our yoga mat. Let's inhale, circle, sweep arms up. As you exhale, bend the knees and the arms out to the side as you tilt yourself forward like that little dunking bird. This is swan dive. Forward fold, you can either have hands on the thighs, elbows on the thighs, or grab the elbows, top of the head, points down to the floor, and you look in between your legs. And then we're just going to have hands underneath the knees, straighten the arms, and you've got somewhat of a flat back maybe. Contract that belly button. And then maybe straighten that right leg, maybe not. And bend the knee. Straighten that left leg, bend the knee. And then you know what? We're going to reverse all that. Hands out to the side. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Exhale, swan dive into your forward fold. You pick which fold today. And then let's come down to the floor. One hand on either side. So you got to bend those knees. Bring one foot way on down. Grab your yoga block. This is the number one reason for having that yoga block, besides the overhead extension when we laid on our back, for back yoga that is. So we're going to lie on our back. And if you don't have a block, you can do this without a block. If you're in a chair, you'll probably have to do one leg at a time. But what we're going to do is walk the feet towards the behind. Lift your behind either with your own muscular strength or use your hand if necessary. And then slide that block underneath the low behind. Yeah, I'm going to walk my shoulders away. So this feels odd to me because my pacemaker likes to travel. So, yeah, it feels okay today. I know, weird, right? Let's bring a leg up into the air and kind of shake that leg. So if you have, and I talk about this all the time, so don't be weirded out. This is your first time. If you have pelvic organ prolapse, that happens, right? If you're a gymnast, man, you know, that's going to happen. But what happens is rectum or your bladder is starting to descend. You're in this upside down inversion posture. This gives that opportunity to relax and release. So it's a nice little breather, little break for, you know, any of that stuff happening. This helps lessen toxins gathering in our lymph nodes. So shaking side to side also. Plus this helps to release tension in the back being on the block. All right, and then lower that leg, contract your belly button when you do that. And now let's do the other side. Raise that leg up and start shaking. This also helps with lessening edema, swelling in the ankles and the low legs. If you tend to be on your feet a lot, this is a great thing to do. Or legs up the wall, that's a wonderful thing to do. And then shake it side to side. I think it's up on Veterans Yoga Project. They had me do a legs up the wall demo. And it was legs on the wall, legs on the chair, legs on the couch. It all works. Now, if you want to, grab your yoga block, squeeze your shoulders, lift the other leg up, and do them both at the same time. If you're seated on the chair, just kind of alternate shaking your legs. You can use your hands to shake the legs if you need to. Now, side to side. That feels weird. We didn't do the notice pose today. Come back next week. We're going to add on. We're going to do pigeon pose next week and yoga band-aid. So those are other great yoga postures for releasing pain. Shake them up and down. Shake, 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 shake. All right, release one down. You feel the tingling? Maybe. And the other? Push into the floor. Bring that block away and up, and then roll your spine down. Notice how your body feels. Now, we didn't do the notice pose at the beginning. That's where we extend the legs. And let's just do the notice pose. So extend one leg. Kind of wiggle that hip a little bit. Do the other. Move your shoulders. Just notice how it feels in your back. Maybe that was wonderful for you. Maybe it was a little bit less stuff going on. You can either stay here or maybe put the blanket underneath the bend of the knees. Some folks with back challenges, they'll bend their knees instead, bring the feet wide and drop the knees in. Or they'll put their legs on the seat of the chair. That's a wonderful thing. If you have a chair or a couch, you can kind of scooch over to it or get yourself over to it. This also additionally helps release stuff going on in the spine. 5 to 10 minutes. We won't do 5 to 10. Well, we might with the guided rest. So I kind of walk my behind away a little bit. And depending how cold your room is, you may want to cover up your feet, your chest, your body. And again, this is beneficial for reducing edema, swelling, helps with varicose veins, helps release tension in the spine. It's similar to block bridge, only that we're not doing the movement here though. And you can rest your hands on your torso or out to the side. I invite you to close your eyes or gaze softly, whatever is going to be best for you. So this is the part of the class where I come up to the camera and I do the guided rest and relaxation. So I invite you to get a little bit more comfortable, whatever that might be for you. Maybe you need to shake a leg, shake an arm. Maybe you need to roll the shoulder up and away. Do the same with the other side. Maybe you need to take that blanket, cover yourself up. So this is one of the things that we do in Veterans Yoga Project. We do this guided rest and relaxation. It's like a little miniature meditation practice. Beautiful. I invite you right here just to notice that you're breathing. Don't change it in any way. Just notice, what does it feel like here to breathe in? And what does it feel like here to breathe out? Again, breathing in, belly big. Breathing out, soft belly contracting. Beautiful. I'm going to take you on a little sensory journey here. So let's just kind of put our imagination on full gear. So imagine we're on a warm, sandy beach. We've got the beach blanket on the ground. We've got the umbrella overhead. It's not too hot. It's not too cool. You have this soft breeze coming across your skin. And then you're noticing, you hear the seagulls overhead. You hear the little kiddos down the way playing in the surf as it comes forward and recedes away. And then you started to notice the sound of the surf, the sound of the water coming towards you as you breathe in, and then receding away as you exhale. Your breath matches that rhythmic movement, breathing in, breathing out. Good. As you're lying here on that blanket, you're taking your eyes out towards the ocean's horizon, the edge of the water, and you're noticing all the beautiful colors of the sunset. You notice the yellows, the golds, the pinks, the oranges, all those wonderful colors radiating from the planet's edge. You're just noticing those colors. Good. Now, it's a moment or two later, and you notice the sun has started to set, And you're seeing all these wonderful nighttime colors, the blues, the blacks, the purples, the grays. You're noticing the air is very crisp and clear as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Again, it's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just right. As you take your gaze skyward, you're starting to notice the stars, the planets to pop out. Maybe you're seeing the North Star, the Big, the Little Dipper, or maybe your favorite star constellation. But the air is so crisp and clear here, you're starting to notice the pattern of the Milky Way. So just observe, just notice what you notice here. Again, the air crisp and clear as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Notice the surface that's supporting you here, whether it's that beach blanket, your yoga mat, your chair. Notice the sensation of being supported by the surface beneath you. Good. Now, let's notice the front places of the body. Notice the air softly coming across the skin. Notice the clothing draped on your body. Notice the lightness of the places in the body in the front compared to the places in the back side of the body. Good. Again, just breathing in, just breathing out. From here, I invite you to come back into the now, into the present moment. So let's wiggle those wrists, wiggle those toes. If your legs are on the chair, take those legs off the chair. If your knees are bent, maybe you want to hug the knees into the chest. Little roll side to side. If you're seated, maybe some little shoulder rolls. Again, get a little movement going on here. And if you're going one direction, go the other direction. Wherever you are, seated on the chair, lying on your back, come back to the center. And let's come up to a seated place. So if you're lying on your back, roll over onto your side body. Get that hand in front of you, gently push up to your forearm. And then when you're ready, all the way up. Once you're all the way up, again, there can be this equilibrium shift. Just drop the chin towards the chest. That's good for the atlas point, where the head enters into the top of the spine. And in fact, let's take our chin and turn it towards one shoulder. That's half of a smile. And then bring the chin back to center and take the chin over to the other shoulder. That's the other half of the smile. Notice little crinkly stuff going on maybe. Back to the chest, back over to the other side. Once again, back to the chest, over to the other side, and then return to the center. Let's open up a little bit more blood flow to the brain by doing spread the fingers, spread the feathers, opens up the cartoids. So what we're going to do is take a hand out to the side. And I have mine kind of high so you can see it, but you bring it down a little bit low. And then you turn your thumb to the back of the room. And you take your opposite ear, drop it towards your shoulder, and then lift your chin up. You may notice some stuff going on in the bicep, tricep here. And then release back to the center. Let's take the other hand, spread those fingers out like a little, spreading the feathers. Very good. Now take the thumb, push it to the back of the room so you get some activation of that arm. Now drop your opposite ear towards the shoulder. And then lift the chin. Very good, very good. And then bring it back to the center. With the hands to heart center away from your chest, you can hook your thumbs if you like. We're going to do swimming dragon. Let's push hands to one direction and turn the head the other direction. Again, this is all for back challenges. And then inhale, bring it back to the center. Thank you. Exhale, push the other way. Inhaling back to the center. Exhale, push the other way. Chin turns one direction, hands go the other direction. Inhale back to the center. Exhale back to the other side. And then once again, back to the center. So we'll do a little acupressure, a little energy tapping work here. So you have headaches. This is one way to lessen headaches. You're going to go into the webbing of the hands with the other webbing of the hands. So you basically tap, tap, tap into the webbing of the hands. I've got my jewelry on so you can kind of hear the little rattling here. And then just kind of notice what thumb is on top and then switch it. Your brain kind of goes, what? And do that again. So again, this is for tension, for headaches. Very good. Now we're going to go for neck and shoulder pain. We're going to do the interwebbing of the hand. So, kind of get it positioned there. And then we're going to tap, tap, tap. Be kind. You're not used to this, yeah? My rings are making noise here. Then look at the finger that's on top and switch it. Again, that's Alzheimer's dementia prevention. Both brains working here. And tap, tap, tap. Very good. If you're vintage, and I'm not going to define what that is, but after about the age 25, we tend to lose our T cell production. We're going to thump our thymus to encourage more T cell production, which helps lower our immunity. So find your collarbone and go about 2 finger widths down, your peace fingers and your thumb, or just your peace fingers, and tap. Now, if you got fingernails, try to do the pads of your fingers, not your fingernails, okay? Tap, tap, tap. Remember when we shook the legs when we were on the block, we're kind of releasing toxins from our lymph nodes. This is kind of related to that. In that same line of thought, take your hand to your opposite collarbone, find your collarbone, and then just softly rub the soft area above your collarbone. Lymphatic drainage, vagus stimulation. Not doing this hard, it's just a soft stroke. Do the other side, find your collarbone, go into that area. Got a lot of lymphs in our collarbone, armpit, neck area. Take your fingers, your pads of your fingers on the sides of your necks. A downward movement to, again, lymphatic drainage. You hear a lot about this. And then take it to the front. Point your chin a little more towards the sky. Also stimulates collagen growth. Good for keeping this less saggity, if that's a thing you're concerned about. Now, again, kind of take your fingers and your thumbs and tap into your armpits. Now, I had heart surgery, so this is kind of like challenging for me, so I don't do this too hard. In fact, don't do it too hard. Lots of lymph nodes in the armpit, chest, pectorals, all that. Now find your lowest ribs, wherever they are. Tap into those low ribs, same kind of thing. Lots of lymphs going on here. And the only way to get rid of toxins held in the lymphs is to move. Motion is lotion. Our heart system, our circulatory system pumps blood all throughout our systems. We kind of get that all moving, but the lymph nodes, not so much. Now, fist or palms, find your belly button, pat your belly button. Another area for releasing lymph accumulation, toxin accumulation. Bring your feet wide. If you're sitting on your behind, you're already sitting wide, but where your legs insert into your torso, you're doing lymphatic drainage in that area. It's called slapping the quad, sides of the hands, tap. You can alternate tap or tap at the same time. Again, got to get rid of that toxins held in the lymphs. Very good. And also the back of the knees. That might be hard seated on your behind, but try the best you can. Back of the knees. Very good. Let's bring our hands to heart center and end our class with a gratitude practice. So think of one thing that you're grateful for, or an idea of gratitude. Bring whatever that is, envelop that into your heart space and your chin towards your chest. Isn't gratitude just you showing up today? Very good. And you can keep your eyes gazed at the floor or forward as I end our class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of gentle yoga for low back care.